Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Police have shot and killed an armed man in the centre of Launceston after he threatened the public with a knife. Officers pepper sprayed him, but they say he kept charging at them, leading to the fatal shots. A police officer ended up in hospital with a bullet injury. Victoria Eastoe has been following the story.
The terrifying moment, police shoot a knife-wielding man.
Oh, they just shot him. They just shot him.
The CBD rocked by gunfire as nearby residents take cover.
No. Get down. Get out of here.
It was right in front of my balcony, so I took cover with my partner behind a kitchen bench.
Officers swarming Cornwall Square, St John Street, just metres from the police station around 10 a.m, responding to reports an armed man entered the business.
He was threatening people at that business premises. That's then continued out into the street and police have become involved.
Trying to de-escalate, pepper spray was used, but the man, known to police, continued launching at officers.
The man ignored repeated warnings by the police to disarm himself.
That's when police opened fire. Shooting him in the chest twice.
Lethal force for a police officer is the very last option.
He was given first aid at the scene, taken to the Launceston General Hospital in a critical condition and later pronounced dead.
This is a traumatic incident and it's certainly a tragic outcome that nobody wanted.
An officer has been treated for a bullet wound to the face.
That injury's been to the cheek. That member's in the LGH.
At the scene, streets were shut down and a crime scene declared. Witnesses describing the frightening altercation.
It's unusual. We don't normally see these sorts of events here, and it's generally a quiet area. A little bit shaken, but I'm okay.
Well, for more, we cross now to reporter Victoria Eastoe, who's at the crime scene tonight. Now, Vic, it's been around 8 hours since the shooting. What is the latest information that you have?
Kim, the area has just reopened. Police have left the scene and traffic is starting to return to normal. Now, that's after residents were let back into their apartment building after being locked out for much of the day. Now, as you said, it's been several hours since this fatal altercation happened, but police are yet to reveal several details. We don't know the age of the man, nor where he is from, or why he was threatening the public. But what we do know is, due to the nature of the incident, a professional standards investigation will be conducted and the Integrity Commission has been informed. Now, Kim, police are offering support to officers involved, as well as any community members that have been impacted by this tragedy that's unfolded here in the centre of Launceston today.
Okay, thank you very much, Victoria. Well, turning to the days on the news, government business and enterprise executives have been grilled in a series of parliamentary hearings into their performance. These sessions uncovered more details into the botched spirits project, while Tas Networks dismissed claims it was secretly moving towards privatisation.
Government business bosses, along with ministers, lined up for interrogation following a turbulent year for the state's GBEs, and TT Line was immediately under the spotlight over its mounting debt. TasCorp revealing it will carry out a wholesale look into the ferry operator's finances.
Was this review initiated by TasCorp, or did TT Line come to TasCorp to talk about the state of the books?
The particular catalyst for this one was the MLFA breach.
Labor first raised the alarm about TT Line breaching its debt levels during the last sitting weeks of Parliament. The Shadow Treasurer says it's another example of how costly the Spirits of Tasmania fiasco is proving to be.
They're sinking under the burden of debt, and it looks like they may need to be bailed out by a government that is also sinking under the burden of debt.
The conduct of Tas Networks was also firmly in the sights of the opposition and the Greens, who questioned its decision to launch a tender for a single contractor for some of its work on the electricity grid. Chair Roger Gill remains adamant local contractors won't be left behind. Tasport's bosses were the last to front up to today's hearings, where the blame game for berth upgrade delays in Devonport for the new Spirits continued.
Did the government or your shareholder minister or ministers ever direct you to provide TT Line with access to berth 3?
No, because it wasn't required. We would have always provided access upon request.
But the evidence that they provide is to the contrary to that you blocked it.
What is the evidence?
The evidence given by the former chair of the TT Line during the Public Accounts Committee.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
A North West business is back in the black after a much-needed bailout. Penguin Composites entered voluntary administration earlier this year but has been bought out by defence company Decem. The deal sweetened by a $250,000 state government grant.
That allows us to step up with equipment purchases and upgraded training of our personnel.
The company employs 35 people and has secured a major contract for producing components for Hawkeye military vehicles. Ambulance Tasmania's recruitment blitz is continuing with an additional 16 experienced paramedics to be stationed across the state. It's part of a campaign to attract more health workers from Australia and beyond, some in this latest cohort coming from as far as London.
Starting in about 2 weeks' time on the road in Launceston, get to work with my new colleagues up there. This last 3 weeks has been quite intensive.
5 paramedics started in October, 19 in July, 16 graduates earlier this year, and we're so excited to onboard another 25 graduates at the beginning of next year.
Just weeks ago, an inquiry into ramping detailed the effects of understaffing on paramedics, calling for an urgent expansion of resources. An in-demand therapy service is facing closure within months because of a federal government funding change. Dozens of Tasmanian families rely on the sessions and fear what will happen if they lose support.
A vicious crowbar attack nearly 5 years ago robbed Christian of the ability to read, write or speak without difficulty. But he still has the power of song.
Talking? Crap. But singing? Yeah.
He's been coming to creative therapies in Devonport every week for the past 4 years, working with music therapist Alex Morse.
It's an absolute privilege to support the most vulnerable Tasmanians in this community.
The practice supports 60 families across Tasmania's north, but its future is in doubt after the National Disability Insurance Scheme flagged major funding changes. From February 1, support for music therapy under the NDIS will be slashed by 2/3.
It's already caused a lot of trauma to our families because they rely on this service.
The changes mean Danielle Sheehan won't be able to afford sessions for daughter Evie.
Terrifies me. I'm not sure what her life would look like without music therapy.
The 7-year-old is non-verbal and can't attend school, but she does have perfect pitch and a talent for the keys.
With music therapy, it kind of helps everything click together. Doing just speech and OT, it's very hard to get her engaged.
But the National Disability Insurance Agency says the practice doesn't meet its standards to be classified as therapy.
Music therapy is an evidence-based allied health practice that supports people to maintain and achieve functional goals.
The Australian Music Therapy Association is fighting back, vowing to keep making noise until the decision is reversed. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
One of Hobart's fastest growing schools has received a $6 million upgrade. New classrooms, gardens and playgrounds all set to be ready in the new year and accessible to all.
It's been years in the making, but Lauderdale Primary School's newest classrooms are nearly ready to use.
It's just so exciting about everything that's happening. I know a lot of younger students are very excited to have these opportunities.
Grade 6s touring the new $6.5 million development with 4 new learning spaces to help meet soaring student numbers. Each room accessible to all students.
They're very flexible spaces, so you can have a nice little
great fun activity going on in the wet area, but you've got quiet nooks as well.
Today is the International Day of People with a Disability. So how special to be at a school which has been designed with that very much in mind.
It's as Tasmania's literacy rate continues to cause concern, but educators say creating a safe learning space could help to foster better learning outcomes.
The learning environment is equally as important, and I think if you have a learning environment that looks like you value the children, then they value it, and they're going to work with respect and put their best efforts in.
For now, these students certainly have given the upgrade top marks.
Cool.
Amazing. Beautiful.
Exciting.
Rad.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Murph is back out on the road experiencing what you can see locally as part of Tourism Tasmania's Longer Days offering. Now Murph, where have you headed to this week?
Yes, well, here we are today, Kim, at Lower Snug, a beautiful earthenry flower farm. I'm here for a very colourful, creative experience picking my own flowers. The easiest way to do that is to come out to the farm and see Ella, because she'll help us all the way through it. What do you do, Ella, when you're here?
So when people arrive, they get some snips and they get a vessel, and then they can go around the farm and pick flowers and fill it up.
And does it look like that, or can you help them having it look like that?
If people are struggling, we're here to help, so we can give them help on how to get a good arrangement when they leave the farm.
Plenty of things happening here in Lower Snug too after Christmas, the Friday twilight nights here at the farm. What happens then?
Sure are. So they're starting from the 3rd of January. You can come in the afternoon and we have music, food, and you can pick your own flowers as well.
Sounds great. The other thing that can happen is I might have a green coat but not a green thumb. If I want to start my own flower garden at home, you've got tips for that as well?
We sure do. We run a lot of workshops. During the off-season we run a lot of farming workshops, so you can come and learn about growing your own flowers. And during peak season we run a lot of arranging workshops, so you get to know how to use your flowers.
Well, you're very, very busy, and it's very busy here at Lower Snug. Make sure you get out and about and have a travel around Tasmania to places you may not have seen before. The peonies have come and gone. The dahlias are coming up shortly, as long as we're not pushing up daisies, Kim.
We don't want that. And I'll just take that pink bunch while you're at it. Almost a year after Queen Mary's accession to the Danish throne, a tree has been planted in Hobart to honour the historic moment. The Danish ambassador attended today's celebration, acknowledging Mary's Tasmanian roots and a shared commitment to a greener future.
Now a Danish royal, Tasmania will always claim Queen Mary as one of our own.
I definitely sense that when I'm here. I hear a lot of our Mary.
The Danish ambassador marking the Queen's accession earlier this year with a trip to where the fairy tale all began, planting Tasmania's floral emblem, a blue gum, to honour Mary's Hobart heritage.
It's part of her home and she has her family here, and I think she is very fond of Hobart and sees it as the place where her foundations were built.
While Hobart slept, an oak tree was planted in Denmark's capital of Copenhagen. The two cities acknowledging a common vision for more action on climate change.
Especially in this day and age where we're looking at a lot of global challenges, it's important that we work closely together as like-minded countries.
The planting also part of Hobart Council's urban renewal project, aiming to hit a target of 40% canopy coverage by 2046.
They do cool city streets with global warming. They help to clean the air and have habitat for biodiversity.
As for when we can expect the Queen to grace our shores again,
that I don't know. Australia plays a big part, of course, for Queen Mary and her family. So let's see what happens.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Weekly water testing has begun in the River Derwent to detect the safest places to swim this summer. Samples will be collected from more than 38 sites, with results published on the Derwent Estuary Program's webpage.
So what we measure is enterococci, which is a fecal indicator, and if there's too much of that in the water, it can make us sick.
We have 191 kilometres of coastline here in the great city of Clarence, and it's wonderful to know that through working closely over recent years, we've got fantastic water quality here.
Last summer, Hobart had 18 swimming locations scoring either a good or fair long-term rating.
Queensland's been a bull in a china shop against Tasmania as the One-Day Cup comes to Ninja Stadium. Matt Renshaw batting away the pressure on a way to a century.
We feel a little bit of tension, and yet he's been flawless the whole innings.
A spectacular caught and bowl by Matthew Kuhneman spoiling Renshaw's rampage. The Bulls making it 6 for 319 before rain spoiled their final overs, revised up to 338 though. The Tigers taking to the crease a short time ago. They're currently 1 for 44. The Hobart Chargers have inked another deal ahead of next year's NBL 1 South season, signing key guard Chelsea D'Angelo. The 24-year-old will relocate to Hobart in March after successful stints in New Zealand and Victoria.
She'll come in and add some athleticism in the guard spot, averaged 20 points a game and 5 assists last season with Frankston, and sort of the numbers that we're kind of looking to add to our group.
D'Angelo is only the second player to be signed for the season so far, with guard Chana Thompson joining the ranks last week. And punters, jockeys and spectators are saddling up for another season of excitement, with the Summer Racing Carnival officially launching today. Prize money of more than $2.9 million will be up for grabs across 20 feature races across the 3 codes. Various events are expected to take place across the state over the coming months, including staple races like the Launceston Cup. Crazy to think it's almost that time of the year again, Kim.
It is summer racing season. Thank you very much, Vic. We'll catch up with Murph after the break, out and about and bringing us your weather.
And welcome back to Lower Snug at the Earthenry Flower Farm, just one of the many places that you can visit as we experience our longer days ahead of summer, be it if you're just going to go for a coffee shop somewhere new or a weekend away or possibly a longer holiday. There's plenty of places for you to eat, drink, play and stay. Let's see how the weather played out today. And the weather certainly did play with us today. A bit of everything, actually. Friendly Beach is out top with 26 degrees. Hobart reached 21 and Launceston 19. Temperatures sat between 2 and 5 above average. Flinders Island 25, Bushy Park 22. Grove, St Helens and Lower Snug all 21. Smithton and Strawn 20. King Island 19 today. Low Head and Lyawini tops of 18. Now here's the cloud over us today. To 9 a.m. Railton had 27 millimetres of rainfall. Since then to 4 p.m. Mount Victoria topped the count with 17 millimetres. Cloud also sits over most of eastern Australia and more moving over WA, particularly over Perth. Tomorrow a high starts to dominate the scene with a weak low and trough moving across WA. Our winds west-southwesterly up to 30 knots, easing before tending northeasterly later in the day. Swells up to 3 metres around the coastline. We do have a strong wind warning. That's from Wineglass Bay to Low Rocky Point and also from Stanley to Flinders Island. A moderate flood warning for the South Esk, a minor flood warning for the North Esk and also the St Paul's rivers. A quick recovery to fine weather, though, on the cards for tomorrow. Hobart, Geeveston and Bothwell all fine and sunny. Temperatures in the mid-20s. Similar conditions over the north. Launceston 25, Devonport 20. 22 the top in Burnie with a 0% chance of rain. Sunny in Strawn and on King Island. And in the east, just 19 for St Helens as the cloud clears. Swansea and Orford, sunny weather. The stable weather continues into Thursday, Launceston 27 and Hobart 26. A fine start to Friday ahead of showers developing across the state. And showers on Saturday with possible thunderstorms over the north and east. Further north tomorrow, a possible shower in Perth. Sunny and warm in Adelaide, a fine 24 in Melbourne. Partly cloudy in Sydney and Brisbane. A possible storm for Darwin. And the current conditions here in Lower Snug, 22 degrees, but it feels like 24. If you're having a little trouble trying to figure out where to go for your little break while we have our longer days ahead, go to discovertasmania.com.au /longer days. Plenty of information there on little quick getaways or longer holidays right around Tasmania as we holiday in our own backyard. Don't forget, between January and March, it's perfect here at Earthenry Flower Farm. Kim, I'm very proud of my prowess with the flowers today, so much so that I'm heading home right now to watch my favourite flower film, Back to the Fuchsia.
Oh, very good. What a beautiful, beautiful night in Lower Snug. See you tomorrow, Murph. That is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good night, everyone.